Hey there, welcome to CNT Collectibles. I'm C.
I'm T.
And we're going to continue on with our series of our top 5 players at each position and trying to get it in before the season starts. We can do this, right?
Well, we're going to have a week without doing it, so
What are we talking about?
Oh,
Season starts in 2 weeks. We got plenty of time here.
Well, okay. Anyway, I'm going to be on spring break for a week.
Correct.
That's why we're going to be in Arizona.
That's why you're going to notice in the next 3 videos we're wearing the exact same thing.
Yes.
There it is. Good. So, but this is important reminder that spring training stats don't count. If someone does really well or really poorly in spring training, unless they've made some sort of mechanical adjustments, they just kind of are what they are. So ignore all the noise and just go with what the projections say, I think, for the most part. So we're covering up Sal Perez's head, but I think we'll see him in a little bit here. So what I wanted to do, Tom, this time around is it's really easy just to put Romeuto and Sal Perez right at the top because they play like every day. And so I wanted to go on kind of an equal weight basis on this one here. So if everybody played roughly the same amount, who would be your best catchers overall? And so I've come up with the top 5 here. Should we get into it?
Yep. All
right, great. We'll start out with number 5, former Minnesota Twins. See, I had a little bit of trouble on the pitcher video. I started talking about players like Max Scherzer, about how the Dodgers are really reloading all that. He's a Met now, and I completely forgot, right? I got to write this stuff down. You had it right because you said the dynamic duel of DeGrom and Scherzer, but you let me continue to talk like Scherzer was a Met, or excuse me, was a Dodger, and you got to help me on this kind of stuff here. Sometimes I get forgetful, but I remember Mitch Garver no longer a Twin, but last year he played about a half a season. But he was really good for that half season. 137 weighted runs created, 13 home runs, 20% home run to fly ball ratio. So 20% of the balls hit in the air left the park, which is a completely sustainable number. So this goes back to like 2019 when he was a beast. So I think a healthy Mitch Garver in Texas is a top 5 catcher this year.
I'm thinking that too.
Because,
okay. If he can like. But he's going to drop down on the weighted runs created. But if he upgrades from 13 home runs to 25 home runs in a season,
well, that's just from playing time for the most part. So we know he can hit the ball. He can hit it hard. He strikes out a little too much, but he can take a walk. So there's nothing terribly out of the ordinary from his 2021 stats to his 2022 projections. So the BABIP was elevated. So he looked for some regression in that batting average. But if he's still able to be that 25, 26 home run guy with 120, 120, 130 weighted runs created, yeah, he's a top 5 catcher. That's why he's here. Okay, should we move on?
That's why all good catchers are here. They're all top 5.
Absolutely,
well,
absolutely.
Not all of them,
so we're punishing guys this year for playing too much, all right? But I think in a year or two it won't matter. But this year maybe it still matters a little bit that JT Romeuto and Sal Perez play like 150 games. So JT Romeuto is going to come in at number 4. Mostly he gets his numbers from a lot of volume, so he plays a ton of games. And again, he strikes out a lot. Doesn't walk a ton. A 10% rate is fair. The weighted runs created is not spectacular. The reason that he gets such high praise as a catcher is excellent defensively. And he did have some really, really nice offensive seasons in like 2016, 2017. But the bat isn't the greatest. It's good. It's above average. But it's not the elite level bat that some of the other catchers are presenting. So I'm gonna, even though he's playing a ton, I'm gonna knock him down a little bit for compiling. And so obviously probably top 5. I don't know if he gets up to that number 2 or 3 spot or whatever. I'm comfortable with him at kind of the number 4 spot this year because again, above average bat. He does put up some counting stats, but he plays a lot. He'll get another 20 games over a lot of these other catchers here.
What do you think? Will.
Okay, all right. Okay, our number 3 catcher, Tom, is another compiler, but this dude's legit. Legit compiler, right? Last year, he was not just one of the best catchers, he was one of the best hitters in all of baseball.
So we just upgraded from 17 homers to 50?
That was last season. We're talking about this season. Now, there's a couple things.
Right, but it's still a massive upgrade.
Sal Perez over the last couple of years has changed the type of hitter that he is. He used to be, the average I don't think is wildly off, but he was like a 14, 15% strikeout guy, and he's really changed to the point where he just kind of swings for the fences at this point. So he strikes out more. His exit velocity has been the highest it's ever been.
He doesn't walk too much.
He never walked a whole lot, but now he's striking out about 10 percentage points more than he did in the past. The weighted runs created is reflecting that. But he's really just changed his swing. He's just swinging for the fences. The ball's going in the air more. His exit velocity is higher than it's ever been. So it's legit what he's doing. This is not like it's some sort of, well, it's a little bit fluky, but I mean, he's definitely that 35 homer guy, relative to what he was in years past, where he's maybe a 25 homer guy, because he's changed his swing. But there's going to be a lot of more variance, and more potential downside in doing what he's doing. You can see in his home run to fly ball rate, 26% of the balls you put in the air left the park, and that's a high number, okay? Especially unless you're an elite level power hitter, which, I mean, honestly, 48 home runs, probably an elite level power hitter for the most part. But when you do it like once, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt or whatever. But he's hitting the ball plenty hard. That's about as high as he's done in his career as well. So what we are looking for is some slight regression in the batting average for the most part. The walk rate, again, not much of a walker. That K rate is going to hurt overall. That home run to fly ball rate probably regresses some. So we'll see that weighted runs created perhaps drop a little bit, and the home runs drop to about 35. So overall, the power is probably still going to be there. All right, he's still going to hit bombs. He's still going to strike out a ton. He's trading a lot of strikeouts for some more power, which it's working for him. Not a lot of people could get away with this, but for Sal Perez, last year we're not going to see that again, most likely. But we could see another nice power year for him. But I'm going to stick him at number 3 just because there's people that can do approximately this without having to sell out for power and take on the additional strikeouts, if that makes sense.
It really does.
It really does. It really does. So, all right, real quick before we get to the top 2.
Round 1,
here's three players we could see on this list in the very near future. Adelie Rushman, 70 grade prospect, and a lot of that comes in his hit and power tool, where he's a 60 grade. All right, walks 10% of the time, strikes out less than 20% of the time. So he has an elite batting profile. He's got a 140 plus weighted runs created in double and triple A. Just really a generational type talent at the position. So really, the reason he's not on the top 5 already is we don't know when he's coming up. Now, if he comes up early and plays, I could see him easily in the top 5 for the season.
He really could be. Only if the round 1 pick 1 is worth it.
I believe with him it is. This was a very clear-cut pick. I don't think anybody was really questioning it. Kyber Ruiz, another player, went over to the Nationals, and he's elite contact. He strikes out and walks at about the same clip, at about a 10% clip, which is pretty much insane. He swings at a lot of balls outside the zone, but he makes contact on 87% of them. So this contact profile is insanely good. This is kind of like a Williams Astudillo type, but he's got power, and I think that as soon as he starts to recognize the pitches, he hits everything. Now, if he can just pick his pitch a little bit, then he'll have even more power, and that hitting profile will continue to improve. But I think this is a guy that's ready to break into the top 5 in the next couple of years as well. And lastly, Alejandro Kirk for the Toronto Blue Jays. Just get any Blue Jay you can this year. This is a year where they just need to either play him or trade him at this point. So
didn't the Blue Jays not to be like one of the best teams? I'm not saying the worst team in the AL East, because there's obviously worse, the Orioles.
Right.
The Blue Jays, didn't they used to be worse than before, obviously?
Well, yeah, before they had Vlad and Bo Bichette and
Tias. He's been with him for a while, right?
Tiasco's been there for a little bit, but yeah, I think he's been around 2016 or something like that. No, this is how it goes with smaller market teams. Is every couple of years they're going to bring in enough talent to compete, and then they can't afford that talent, and they go away, and it just kind of rotates. So very few teams are going to be like the Yankees and Boston, where they just reload. So yeah, a smaller market team like Toronto, Minnesota, Milwaukee, you're going to strike fire for a couple of years, and then you're going to kind of fall off the map a little bit. But Alejandro Kirk, kind of like Kyber Ruiz, strikes out at a low rate, so 10% walk rate, 10% strikeout rate. Again, makes contact with everything. Swings at fewer balls outside of the zone, so he's got a good plate presence, and just play the guy, for crying out loud. Get him on the field, and I think you could see a potential top 5 type player at the catcher position from Alejandro Kirk. All right, ready for our top 2 here? Who do you think they are? We're missing a couple.
One of them's definitely Will Smith.
Okay.
And maybe Yasmani?
All right, Yasmani Grandal.
Hey,
right.
but also I want to say something about Alejandro Kirk.
Okay.
So he swings at 28% of the balls outside the zone.
Correct, yeah.
Kyber Ruiz swings at
40% of the balls outside the zone.
So
swings out a lot of junk. So a really good player will be under 30% of balls outside the zone that they swing at.
So 40% of the time for Alejandro, or no, 28% of the time for Alejandro Kirk. Angel Hernandez is there. And 40% for Kyber Ruiz. Angel Hernandez is there.
So, yeah, well, Angel Hernandez, you have to throw all the stats out the window. We don't know what goes on there. So, all right, he has Manny Grandal. All right, not the greatest hitting profile in the world. He walks a ton, strikes out a fair amount. And last year he produced 160 weighted runs created, 23 home runs. Pretty high home run to fly ball rate, but he's also got an incredible hard hit tool and exit velocity. This is a profile that seems really unusual. He hits the ball really, really hard. He walks a ton, and just insane numbers. And the crazy thing about Yasmani is this is like one of the more bankable statistics, one of the more bankable guys at the position that you're going to have. This is just kind of what he does year in and year out. I think this is a sneaky Hall of Fame track type guy. I've been buying a little bit of his stuff because it's really, really cheap because no one's thinking about him. And I think that he easily could be, in a given year, one of the top 3 catchers at the position. So even with potential regression this year, again, got a little bit unlucky. Even if this comes up, I don't know why they have his average even worse. I can't figure that one out. But that walk rate, that strikeout rate, again, at that 20% level, I just can't figure out how he walks so much and still strikes out so much. But an elite level bat at 132 weighted runs created with, approaching 30 home runs, I'll kind of take, I don't know if I take it over Sal Perez. At some point, Sal Perez just starts to slow down. I mean, Yasmani is just continuing to do this. So
yeah, but Yasmani, so they're upgrading his stats by a little bit, besides the way it's created.
Yeah.
And strikeout rate, and they're downgrading his average.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of weird how the projections have him. And honestly, Sal Perez should probably be in this spot here. But I just want to get away from the guys that are compiling. If you break it down by per plate appearance in like their wins above replacement or whatever, it's there's no question it's Smith and Grandal, but because of the amount of volume that Sal Perez gets, and it's like he probably sneaks above Yasmani, but with or without the volume, I think Will Smith probably just takes the cake this year. He was the best hitting catcher last year in terms of total output and more, and weighted runs created was Yasmani. But
there's 3 kind of Will Smiths. There's the closing pitcher,
right?
There's the actor.
Correct.
One of my favorite actors.
Sure. And the rapper, who's the same person. And then this Will Smith. So 260 average, walks, elite level profile, walks 10% of the time, strikes out 20% of the time. Elite bat, 130 weighted runs created, 25 home runs. Just consistent stuff here. He even has room to increase that hard hit and that home run to fly ball ratio to maybe start approaching 30. And that's what the projections have him for this year. So
they're
similar average, similar BABIP, walking, striking out similarly, but perhaps he puts a few more balls in the air, maintains his elite level presence at the bat, and knocks out 28 home runs.
So they're thinking that he's not going to really change too much.
What the projections are saying is Will Smith is kind of settled into what he's going to do with some potential upside. And so what he is the best hitting catcher in the game. With potential upside, he could really increase it. So I think over the next, look at the next 8 years or something like that, Will Smith, Adelie Rushman are going to be kind of your 1-2 in this one here. So that's what we have for catches. Love to hear what you have to think. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.